Hello and welcome everyone. This is game number 1 of a best of 3. It's from the WCS EU Challenger. I'm Madals for those of you who don't know, and if you're watching on my Twitch, hello, welcome live people. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you subscribe and all those good things, and of course check out my Twitch channel. So, PvZ is going to be coming up here, down on Derelict Watcher for game number 1, and spawning in the lower left hand position. It is the red Protoss player. It's none other than WhiteRa. Oh yeah. And his opponent, up in the top right, the blue Zerg. From the team AI, it's WacK. WhiteRa is such a dude. Did anyone see on WhiteRa's, I can't remember if it was Facebook or his Twitter page, but WhiteRa's beach pictures? Like, that summed up WhiteRa when he was on the beach, teaching someone StarCraft strategy, and WhiteRa just looked so awesome. He was wearing, like, red swimming shorts, and he had a big stick, and he was drawing in the sand like this is special tactics, and just explaining, like, that'd be an awesome day, learning StarCraft on the beach with WhiteRa. I think they had a barbecue as well. That's always good. Anyway, PvZ, Derelict Watcher. What can we say about this map? Well, taking a third base, crappy for a Protoss player, really. It's a Zerg favored map. I think that's fairly safe saying. If taking a third base is bad, taking a fourth is just horrible. Admittedly, for the Zerg, taking a fourth isn't too nice either. You can get attacked from here, multiple attacks, warp-ins, etc. A bit of a pain to deal with, but generally I'd say this is a slightly Zerg-favoured map. WacK, he's going for the pool, and there's kind of two big chains of thought at the moment. Pull first into, obviously, pool, hatch, gas, up against the gateway expand. The other big chain of thought is, well, you go against the gateway expand, which Derelict Watcher, to be fair, not guaranteed to be gateway expand, but against the gateway expand, it's hatch, pull on really certain maps. The reason Derelict Watcher can potentially be a Forge or a Nexus first is just because this is a ramp and it's not too wide. It is viable to go for that as opposed to a gateway, but a gateway I still maintain has more options off the back of it, and I think that it's nice and solid throughout. You've got good avenues to progress forward. I mean, if nothing else, even if you go gateway expand, you've got two choices. You can still go 3 gates with a mothership core that you've got out. 4 gates and a mothership core is a nice push. It's very effective, especially at stopping a third from a Zerg. It's difficult to deal with, especially if a Zerg doesn't get roaches. And then you've also got 2 additional gates, plus say a Stargate or a Robo, or even a Twilight Council. So these options available is what makes things very exciting to see. Now, WacK bringing down a Zergling as well as the drone, so he's going to be taking a very fast third. Now the pylon block comes down, and this third base being so quick means the gas is delayed, and this is suboptimal against a gateway expand, and that's because WhiteRa, all he's got to do is add on 3 more gates and then warp in a shed ton of zealots, and he's fine. And the way you can make this, or compensate for this, is to try and make sure that there's going to be too much. But WhiteRa, wow, he really does not want this third coming down. He knows the investment's been made. There's the gas coming. So the gas is delayed and the third is not coming down. Generally, this is good time for WhiteRa. The gateway probably will get cancelled just before it's finished building. There is some tie-up of minerals there until it's done. But WhiteRa's got a good amount. Well, he's not yet got a good amount, but he will be getting a decent income. And while he won't be pressuring, he's delaying this third by a huge amount. Remember, this was trying to come down at about 4 minutes. It's already been delayed by 1:10. Probably going to end up getting delayed by about 1:30, give or take a bit. Mothership core on its way over to the gateway does need to get cancelled. Pretty quick doesn't get cancelled, and that makes it not worth it in my opinion. But yeah, WacK now gets his third hatchery coming down. It came about 1:25, so quite a big delay. WhiteRa going to be adding on some lovely additional gateways. Needs to chuck down a pylon as well just to get those warp-ins. The mothership core just has pretty much free reign here, and while the mothership core will take literally all day to take out a single hatchery, it's weakening. It's making it just a little more squishy, so when these gateways become warp gates and the warp gates become units, or well, warping units, the hatchery can get taken down quicker. Also, the probe can sneak in. No vision here, so the proxy pylon can come down, and if WhiteRa knocks out this hatch, he's going to be very happy about it. Note that there is a queen waddling its way across. Will eventually shut down the mothership core, but the mothership core can just buy a bit more time. The important thing is this gateway is done, and the gateway, the pylon is done. And once the gateway units start getting warped through, that's where problems come. WacK trying to get down his Roach run. It is coming a little bit late, of course. Warp gates getting warped through now. The fourth one should be on its way. The Zealot's already there, more Zealots coming through. Probe even helping out with this hatchery. And WacK, is he going to cancel it? Yes, he will. So this is now WhiteRa dealing a good amount of damage. And for the expense, it was very little. 3 Zealots are potentially forfeit. The Mothership Core will be able to get away. So even if it's 3 Zealots, plus the Probe, plus the Pylon, that's only 450 minerals. Definitely worthwhile for how long this hatch has now been delayed. Also, actually no, it'd be 600 because of the fact that the gateway wasn't cancelled. 700 because there was the Pylon there as well. So yeah, more than enough. Following this up, a Stargate and a robotics facility simultaneously getting thrown down, not something that you often see. We got a Speedling as well, just sitting here at the moment for WacK, just keeping a good solid eye on what's going down. Also, WacK, you're being very, very, very naughty. WCS, you're not allowed to use the skins. Not allowed. It's cheatings. Don't know why that rule came in, it seems a bit odd for this. But anyway, these Zealots will die. Take a couple of links with them though, Mothership Core can weaken up a few more too. But yeah, all in all, resources lost. WhiteRa hasn't actually lost too much more. Overall, the net loss of resources for WhiteRa at the moment is 275. So not a massive chunk, but definitely justifies obviously cancelling that hatch. WhiteRa is definitely keeping his economy fairly solid. Is going to have to deal with this Overlord. That's frustrating. With only a single Stalker poking at it, it's going to be able to goop up this third base with a decent amount of creep for quite a while, but it's one of those things which you don't ideally want, but it's not the worst thing for WhiteRa either. He should be okay. This thing to delay his Nexus by a small amount. Now, what's coming out here? We do have Phoenix on their way. This is the first Phoenix. Nothing else has come out of this Stargate yet. He's also getting down the robotics facility. So, will it just be the single Phoenix for the moment? Where is the rally point? It's just rally down here. Should come and take that out. If there's more, it'll be quite cool. But the Spire from WacK. Now, this is where things get cool. The fact that Spire's coming down just means going for Phoenix is going to be really solid. Having that Stargate there just means you can deter additional Mutalisk play. There is still the option with the Spire to go Muta Corruptor, which is good even with Phoenix out. The Corruptor's obviously doing a good job, and if you get a sizable number of Mutalisk and Corruptor with some Lings, you can deal with a lot of stuff that will be thrown at you. But it's one of those things which is a bit awkward to get to that point. Not exactly the simplest thing in the world. So anyway, we do see the Observer. Not really seeing too much here of what WacK is doing. WhiteRa just trying to get a little bit of a peek of what's coming down. But yeah, WhiteRa will see a couple of units making their way across. The third base is going to be the target of this. But with a cannon, with a Mothership Core, with full energy, the sentries, it should be defendable. There are quite a lot more units coming through now. Those force units aren't the best I've ever seen. More Warpins are on their way. But this was very sloppy by WhiteRa. If those force units came down sooner, he would have been okay, definitely. But the sentries will get taken out. If nothing else, that sentry pickup, very solid. The roaches are taking some damage from the cannons and, of course, the stalkers. The Pylon's still up, so he could get some more Warpins. Phoenix coming back. They can lift up 2 roaches just to basically negate some of the damage. But once the Nexus is finished, that's when the Nexus cannon can start. So while WhiteRa's lost some units, he will be able to keep up the Nexus, almost certainly, and that's the important thing, to keep this Nexus alive. But Speedlings following through. A good number of Speedlings there, of course, going to be fairly solid. That's why these Zealots getting brought in are smart. But +1 ground weapons that he's done. Oh, an Immortal is going to form part of the wall off. You never really want to have your Immortal getting taken down by Lings, but there's not enough Lings there to be too threatening. Of course, the third base staying up just puts extra pressure on WacK. WacK going into Mutalisk production now, though. He's got 11 already out on the field that are just kind of flapping and fluttering around. Main base very vulnerable, and just the Stalker count incredibly low for WhiteRa at the moment. I say incredibly low, it's 0. 0 is the lowest the Stalker count can be. You can't have negative Stalkers on the map. I don't know, some Stalkers might be negative, but they're not going to be negative in number. So Mutalisk coming in now. The Phoenix, 2 Phoenix are going to be annoying to Mutalisk. They get a couple of kills, but the Mutalisk is going to be far more annoying to this probe line as a lock start going down. And the Phoenix don't get micro. That means they're tugged up into the Mutas, and the Mutas are going to be able to just annihilate them very quickly. More probes are going to go down. The cannon is there, but it's getting focused very quickly. More Mutalisks on their way through. Voidway is being added into the mix as well. WhiteRa going a bit sky tossed, but is going to lose the Phoenix. The Voidway will go down too. Things looking very good for WacK here. He's able to knock out a stupidly high number of probes. A couple of Stalkers are in there, a few more in the main ground, and yeah, this is going to force WacK back for the time being. But he's got a Speedling run by to the third. He's expanding to the fourth, and while there are some Zealots coming in, they do have +1, so 2 shot encirclings. This was a lot of damage done. 27 probes killed. WacK now sitting at 75 to 44 workers. He's got a huge economy. He's getting out a bunch of Hydralisks. He's seeing that there's no Colossi. Without a single Colossus on the field, and an opponent preparing for Mutalisks, going into Hydras is one of the strongest things you can do, because obviously the majority of the economy is going to be headed straight towards this, and yeah, when it's all going solid like this, things should be fairly alright, getting out a good number of Mutalisks, but in come more. They're going to be doing a little bit of damage here, and all while they're doing this, picking off probes, things are going to be looking fairly good actually, and you're going to be relatively happy with it all going down. But unfortunately the Mutalisks do get taken out. Definitely not what you want to be seeing, and as all of this is done, things are sitting for WacK still good in terms of just his economy, but the follow-up push should get him nicely ahead. He's got a massive amount of army supply, and there isn't really an answer to the Hydralisks yet. There's 27 of them down, and only a single Colossus just now popping. That Colossus does not yet have extended thermal lance. That's where problems start getting caused, and that's where things start getting a bit more awkward. So, what do you do if you're in this situation? How do you try and make things work for you? Well, the Hydras, they can get taken out by the Colossus if they're zoned out. The Time Warp's good, it stops the engagement. The Zerglings should go for the wraparound, and this is where WacK is going to start looking to be in a very solid spot. In come more Hydras. And yeah, this is WhiteRa's army getting somewhat annihilated. The Zealots, which were tanking up some of the damage, have now been taken out. The Colossus is still the big damage dealer, but gets focused down by WacK. Really nicely done there. And even though these Hydras probably will be forced back, so much damage done. In terms of resources lost, WacK may have lost 1,000 more resources, but he's now going into mass Mutalisk production once more. And it's this constant tech switching up back and forth that can force things to be a little bit problematic. So now we see Lings are on their way through, and well, nice little wraparound, things looking very solid, and these Lings, they're just getting the odd kills here. They've got the carapace upgrade, so that means they still take 3 hits again from the Zealots, but well, while it's forced back the Mutalisks, they're starting to get pretty sizable in number. Going to be going up to 18 Mutas here. They're ready to come into the main. There are some Phoenix there, but in grand total, there's only 3 of them. That's not really what you want. Hatchery down at the bottom right is on its way through, but that Hatchery, it's mainly just going to be for production at this stage. WacK, he's just got so much stuff out. He's in a commanding position, and while the supplies look pretty equal, WacK is in a good spot now. WhiteRa doesn't have any, he owns 1 Colossus, that's it. But in terms of anti-air to deal with these Mutalisks, he's got 6 Stalkers, no Phoenix are out at the moment, he's not making any Phoenix. The Colossus now gets taken down. The Stalkers are dealing good damage, but losing a couple of Mutalisks to take out that Colossus was worthwhile, because now the Lings are going to be very powerful. Muta Zergling is so strong against what's here at the moment. The Stalkers just aren't going to be able to deal with this many Zerglings. Zergling's even going straight to the probe line now. So probably focus the Stalkers first, and that's really where we see the damage getting done. WacK able to clear out most of this. Mother's Call will go down, or should go down if it gets focused. Not getting focused yet. Should get focused. There we go. All looking good. The Stalkers getting taken out. WhiteRa down to under 100 supply. WacK behind this, making more Mutalisks. He knows he's in a solid spot. Takes out these Stalkers. He's got +2 air weapons now as well. Up against, of course, +1 ground armor for the Protoss player. GG is called, and WhiteRa loses game number 1. WacK takes a 1-game advantage here. And of course, that is all good times for him. So if you're watching on YouTube, make sure that you like the video, leave a cool comment, and of course subscribe. And should you be on Twitch, stay tuned, because more games are going to be coming up.